All right, guys, we're looking at consecutive integers here. And so we want to make sure we don't get consecutive integers and consecutive even integers mixed up. All right, so there's a different video for consecutive even integers. So in the consecutive integers, so we have a question like 2, that's going to be consecutive integers, equals 329. Okay, and then how do we figure out what those two numbers are? All right, so our first integer we're just going to call x, and the very next integer we're just going to say it's one more than x, so x plus 1. Okay, and then we just solve. All right, so let's see what happens. All right, so x plus x, that gives us a 2x plus 1 equals that 329. Okay, we subtract 1 from each side. 2x now equals 328, right? Because I subtracted 1 from both sides. Divide each side by 2. And if we do that, if we divide each side by 2, x equals 164. Okay, but we're not done. We found x, but we also have to include that next integer, right? Because it was 2 consecutive integers. So x plus 1 is 165. Okay, so there's what we think our answer is. And if then we want to add these two up and make sure that it equals 329. So 164 plus 165 works out just great, equals 329. Okay, so that's the math way to solve this. And we said the same thing for the consecutive even integer videos, is an easier way. Now, if you have to show your work, then this is how you do it, right? Or if it's not multiple choice, this is the math way to go about doing it. But if you're given multiple choice and you don't have to show work or anything, is then I would just plug in the numbers that they give you and just get 2 consecutive integers, which means 2 consecutive whole numbers. So for example, it couldn't be like 160 and 168 or something, right? They have to be 2 numbers consecutive, 164 and 165. Great example. So if given the multiple choice, I would just do those and add those up and then find the one that's correct. Fewer things to remember, which is always a good thing. And I think a little bit easier to not make any math mistakes doing it that way. Either way, you get the right answer, but that's usually called guess and check. You know, just plug them in, see which one works. Okay, but we'll go ahead and do one more to get some practice at the math. So the changes are like if all of a sudden you had like a lot of consecutive numbers, or if it said like 5 consecutive numbers, then it might be easier to just go about doing the math. Okay, so if we have 3, this time we're saying CI is consecutive integers. 3 consecutive integers equals 18. Okay, and so the way we're going to write that out is x plus 1, just like we did before, but this time it's 3, right? So if it's 3 consecutive, then we'll go to x plus 2 equals 18. Okay, so that's our formula and our equation. And we have 3x, right? So we got 3 x's here, plus 3 equals 18. Okay, subtract 3 from both sides. 3x is now 15. 18 minus 3 is 15. And we divide each side by 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Okay, so there's x equals 5, right? And that would mean x, sorry about the writing here, x plus 1 is 6, and x plus 2 is 7. Okay, so we have a 5, a 6, and a 7. Okay, so that is 3 consecutive integers. 5 plus 6 is 11. 11 plus 7 is 18. That was the number we were looking for, and we are good to go. Again, I would say the same exact thing. If you have multiple choice and you don't have to show your work, is I would just plug in the answers that they give you and make sure the answers that you try for first are the ones that actually are consecutive integers, and go about solving it that way. But this is the math way, and you'll definitely get the right answer. It just takes a tiny bit longer.